Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? There we go. You can hear me now. Okay, pull through sunbeam. Well, apparently the royal we, I am coming at you from mid-ascension to heaven, apparently. It is hot. People of the internet, if I haven't said it, hello, people of the internet. It is hot. Il fait chaud. C'est une hot as balls. Hearing the birds through this microphone is such an experience. I have set it as a goal for myself to... Oh, shit. I wasn't supposed to talk about this. See, I've set it as a goal for myself. Oh my God, that was loud as hell. Set it as a goal for myself that I want to do a little video like this, video diary, perhaps. Little vlog cast. That's not a thing. I want to do a short, simple video like every day that I can. That's the... I mean, literally every time I upload a video on this channel, I talk about how it's now my intention to upload more, and then I just don't for 6 months. So, I mean, definitely nobody believed me. But I just think nothing can happen if you don't try. You know? Isn't there 7 billion people in the world? Surely to God, there's got to be one other person in the world with an internet connection who's here for all of this unplanned, chaotic nonsense. There's got to be one person. And if there isn't, that's fine. Because what I'm really trying to do is something. I'm trying to just do something with some amount of consistency. That's all. This is getting into a long topic that I don't want to bring up on a short video because there's just so much to unpack, although I mean I can just talk about it as much or as little as I want, I guess. I've been so recently, the day before yesterday, I just had this moment where I got self-conscious about the neighbors. How loud am I talking outside of these headphones? Who can say? I finally, a couple days ago, allowed myself to actually start looking at adult ADHD or women, quote unquote women, women folk with ADHD. I remember, maybe it was a year ago, a couple of videos about ADHD went viral-ish popped up in my recommends anyway. And I just ignored them. And I've been very resistant to the idea that I could have me some ADHD. And I don't completely know why that is. I have my theories. We won't explore it now. But when I first started having mental health, when my mental health concerns became unavoidable, I went to a psychologist then, a couple of them, and, borderline personality disorder was discussed. There was some bipolar that was discussed and eventually, settled upon. And I never felt like that diagnosis fit, the diagnosis of bipolar. And I said at the time, I was 20, I said at the time to the psychologist, I just don't feel like bipolar fits for me. And he wrongly assumed that I just didn't want this bipolar diagnosis because of a stigma. And he said to me, Tom Cruise has bipolar and everybody wants to be Tom Cruise. It's not as it's not that big of a deal. Which really goes to show how kind of like out of touch this psychologist was, because this was when Tom Cruise was like full jumping on Oprah's couch, losing his shit over Katie Holmes. If y'all remember that. That was like the time when that was like the moment when Tom Cruise became significantly less cool. I still think he's cool as hell in his movies. I can't help it. But like the Scientology and how weird he, that was when Tom Cruise took a turn in the public eye. And that was when my psychologist told me that being bipolar was cool because Tom Cruise was bipolar. So, good try, buddy. Poor man. But I was like, whatever. Okay, sure. I accepted the diagnosis, and I don't want this to be a full like mental health history time. But it just never really fit. I never felt like it fit. I don't have any manic symptoms apart from like anxiety and pressured speech and difficulty sleeping. I've never like had sex with a stranger. I've never went out and bought a boat, or you know what I mean? Like I know that like bipolar mania isn't always just like crazy unadvisable choices, but like I've never any of it. Like saying a mean thing I regret. That's like my big impulse. And I shouldn't belittle that, because like side note, watching Trisha Paytas have meltdowns, like I have always watched Trisha Paytas from a distance, and seeing her breakdowns on Frenemies was very relatable to me, and the way that she gets like so overwhelmed in her feelings, and like this was like very relatable to me. And I know that I can have these red outs and maybe even these blackouts where I am not in my right mind, and I am not, and this is like not an excuse to treat people badly, but like I do relate to that, where I just like Reckless Mermaid has left the chat and there is just nothing but a demon inside. So I've explored, borderline personality as well. I think I mentioned that. Yeah, borderline, bipolar. And then like a year or so ago, I looked into some complex PTSD, and that seemed to fit pretty good. But like this ADHD business, now that I've like given this little mental health history, I'm like, I don't want to talk about this. Why am I sharing this? I want to cut it all, but I don't want to do the editing to cut it all. So shit, what am I going to do? Yeah, I guess I just wanted to say that a couple days ago, I decided to start learning about ADHD, and I've never felt so seen. So, I was talking about like consistency and struggling to build habits. I think the reason that the ADHD diagnosis for me is like, seems to maybe fit is like a couple things that really hit for me was like lack of executive function, which I have said many times in my own personal life, like I just can't fucking function. Like I just feel like I can't function. Like I feel that way. I feel like if I have any appointment at all, anywhere to be during the day, like it will just occupy my whole entire day trying to make sure that I'm on time, and I definitely won't be. And these like my house is a whole entire mess. I can't finish anything. I can't finish a video. I can't apply for a job. I'm 4 years behind on my taxes. Like I just like knowing that there could be like an explanation that's not just like I'm a huge loser and a failure at life. But then I think like, I mean, I don't know if that's true either. I guess, was it Einstein that said, like, if you took a fish and evaluated him on his ability to swim, you'd think that fish was the worst bird ever? Okay, I meant if you judge a fish on its ability to fly. Obviously not on its ability to swim. And Einstein's quote was actually, if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree. But I wanted it to be about if the fish could fly. And maybe that's what's going on with me, because like I don't think I'm a bad person, but my inability to just like function in society makes me feel so flawed. And I've always, up until recently, I've always been really like resistant to the idea of even having a label or a diagnosis, because to me it's like, what difference does it make? Like, we live in a society, we still have to function in this society with these rules. Like, it doesn't really matter if there's a logical explanation for why I can't, as I like to say, I can't fucking function. Like, it doesn't really matter if there's like an explanation for it, because it doesn't change the fact. But then you just come across things that are like, it's treatable, you know? And I was like, in my mind at first, I was really resistant to the idea of taking medication, of taking stimulants. Yesterday morning, before sitting down to film my video, I thought to myself, I was ruminating about this ADHD thing, you know, and I'm really jaded about therapy right now. And I'm not very pro pharma. So I was like, you know, what are we really going to do here? And I was thinking to myself, and I was like, literally, like, just let me reenacting me. Like, I just don't want to take stimulants. Drinks hurt coffee. Like, I was literally thinking to myself yesterday morning, I don't want to take stimulants while I drank my coffee. Like, girl. And I just gotta think, like, is there a way for me to get my life back? Like, if I were to go on medication and like get with the right therapist and like do the work, like, would I be able to do the dishes? Like, honest question? Like, would I be able to apply for a job? Would I be able to finish writing a song, or finish editing a video, or create a schedule? Like, would I be able to do those things? Because I feel like I've been trying so hard for so long. And I know there's something wrong with me, because it's just getting harder. Like, it's just getting harder and harder. It's not like a teenage depression. I'm 33, and like I know I'm like talking myself into an emotional state. Let me just dry my tears with my skirt. You guys get the point. I've felt these feelings before. I don't need to explore them. Yeah, I don't know if I was really like, finish a sentence. I hesitate to talk so much about mental health on this channel because I don't know why. Maybe this is just a mental health channel now, because we started with doing hair content. But see, I started with the hair content because I was in Mary Kay. I was in the MLM. And so at that time, like, I couldn't, there was a lot of toxic positivity, a lot of like self-gaslighting going on. And I at that time, like, I didn't believe in mental illness. I didn't believe in medications. I actually went off of my medication while I was in Mary Kay with great encouragement from my upline. I heard it was, you know, there's sort of the Venn diagram of like people in MLMs and people who don't trust science and medicine. It's a crossover. There's a lot of crossover there. And yeah, I think it's good to be critical in your thinking. Don't know where that notion was when I was in the MLM. But I do, you know, I am interested in alternative medicine and alternative ways of knowing and alternative living, and I'm just kind of like, a little bit alternative, I think. Even though that word makes me sound way cooler than I am. But my friend is texting me. Oh gosh, it's so hot out. The problems with filming on your iPhone and talking about ADHD and then getting a text from your friend. We can get ourselves back on track. Okay, so I didn't want to talk about mental health stuff when I was in Mary Kay, because I was at that time surrounded by people who didn't believe in mental illness. And look, there is some valid criticisms to level against the field of psychology and against, medication in general. I'm still not very comfortable with the idea that, we maybe don't know how some of these pharmaceutical drugs work. We just give them to people with mental illnesses, and it seems to help for some of them. But I don't think that is the case with, I don't think that is the case with stimulants and people with ADHD. I think that maybe it's understood how those work. I haven't done that research because I'm not there. Let's just listen to the birds for a second. I think I've said everything I want to say about that right now. Because I'm just rambling and it's getting too crazy. I'm going to say something stupid without explaining it fully because I'm trying not to make a 1 hour long diatribe. So, maybe I should play a song. Maybe we need to change up the vibe in here a little. Yeah, let me go get my instrument of some sort and we'll play a song. I like that. When I went into the house to get my ukulele, I realized that I was literally sick with hunger. Because I haven't eaten today. I'm so bad at feeding myself. It might be just I've started thinking that maybe I'm just not completely a human being. Do you know what I mean? I've started I like to imagine that I'm, from another dimension or another place in the space-time continuum, and that I've been sent here in human form for some reason. I actually kind of think that might be everyone, right? Maybe we're all from somewhere else. Come here, leave, come back. I don't know. Could be true. Literally no way of knowing. Okay, so before I had my little mental health moment, complete with emotional display, I was just thinking of how honest I was in this video. Oh my god, I admitted things. So scary, people in my personal life could watch this and not understand, and that's the thing with the internet. Hey, I actually there are some people in my personal life who do know I have the channel and are subscribed to it, and I think I really need to get over this dread that they're gonna watch my videos, because I don't find myself wanting to consume my friends' content on social media in general. Do you know what I mean? I don't follow any of my friends on Instagram. I'm sorry. If it's actually important, I'll hear about it when we talk, right? I don't need to see a picture of whatever it is you're posting. And I don't actually mean that I don't follow my friends. I have lots of friends that I follow, but I follow them because I'm interested in the types of things they post. I don't follow them because they're my friend, if that makes any sense. So, or I might follow them but have them muted, or you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, right? Some people just post about their day, and if your day's not that interesting, I might not care. I'm sorry. I, I've always had an interesting relationship with social media. I just don't feel obligated. I think to myself, like, I don't know. If I had friends with YouTube channels, I don't know if I would watch their videos if their videos were interesting or if it was like on something I wanted to watch. But I don't think I would watch it just because it was that friend. And so, really, that viewer is like the same, right? That viewer is a person who's there because they're interested in the content. Whether or not they know you in your personal life, it's like, maybe I want to think of it as like a friend taking an art class from you because you're a good artist, right? Like if you're doing like a workshop at the community college and then or at the library, and then your friend is like, yeah, I'm gonna sign up for that workshop because you're an expert in that field, or not like an expert, but like because you're the instructor and I want to learn that skill, right? But like your friends aren't going to sign up for workshops that you're taking on subjects that they like aren't interested in, you know? If you like run a scrapbooking workshop and your friends aren't into scrapbooking, they're not going to like, why would they want to spend their Saturday learning something they don't want to learn? You know, like they're not going to do it just because they're your friend. They would rather just hang out with, like, make girlfriend plans and just be friends. Which, side note, is actually one of the reasons why the whole MLM thing doesn't actually work. You know, like, it's kind of pitched to you this idea that, you know, you're going to, like, work with your friends and people will support you, whatever. Like, this whole, like, trying to get your circle to support you and that sort of thing. It doesn't really work because people don't, like, you're, like... I know that people aren't going to watch my videos if they're not interested in the content. Even if they're my friend, I understand that they're not going to waste their time watching something that they're not interested in just because we're friends. So why would I expect them to waste their time hosting a party for me when it's something that they're not interested in? Just because it's like my business and I need their support? Like, why would I expect that though? You know? Or like if I was doing a workshop at the local public library and I was teaching how to compost in your backyard, you know, and my friend lived in an apartment, I wouldn't be like, well, who cares? You know, you can have a composter under your sink, right? But she's like, I'm not interested in having a composter under my sink, right? We do the same thing if someone doesn't want to have like a Mary Kay party and they're like, I don't wear makeup. But it's like, well, that's fine. We can do a foot party. It's like, I don't want to do a foot party because I don't care about this shit. Like, what do you not understand? So I just was like noticing those similarities as I was talking about, like, you know, I'm so worried that people in my personal life are just going to come digging into this video so desperate to like see what it is all about. So desperate to like what, know my personal business and judge me? Like, I doubt it, right? It's like I couldn't get my family and friends to engage in my MLM because they weren't interested. Why would I think that they're going to engage in my YouTube channel if they're not interested? Like, people don't engage in things that they're not interested in. Should we just, like, leave it? Should we just end the podcast on, like, that fucking gem? We will.